everyone. We're going to find the limit as t tends to 0 of tan of 6t divided by sine of 2t. Now our goal when we're doing this, recall that if you plug a 0 in here, the denominator will be 0, and you can't divide by 0 because that would be undefined. So what we want to use is this equation 1 and try to rewrite simplify this equation to make it look like this to help us get the limit. And also recall that if that's true, then so is this. So theta over sine of theta equals also 1. So both of those work. So we're going to run into both of these. I'll call this one equation 2. All right, so let's break this out. Also recall that tan of 6t equals the same as sine of 6t divided by cosine of 6t. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to rewrite tan at first. So we're going to write limit as t approaches 0. And for the numerator, I'm going to put sine of 6t. I'm going to go ahead and write this denominator, sine of 2t. And then I'm going to go ahead and move this denominator. That's going to be cosine of 6t. So that's just rewriting that. Now let's break this up a little bit. We can write this as sine, or the limit, as t approaches 0 of sine of 6t divided by 1 times 1 divided by cosine of 6t times 1 times sine of 2t. Again, we want it to look like one of these equations. This one, equation 2, or equation 1. The only problem with ours is we don't have a t here. So what I can do is, you know that t divided by t equals 1. So since we have 3 of these, I can change this to a t and this to a t. Because it's, as long as you're putting it in both places, it doesn't change it. So basically what I'm doing is I'm multiplying the numerator and the denominator by t. And that's going to help us with our equations. Now let's break this up. So now we have the limit as t tends to 0 of sine of 6t divided by t times the limit as t tends to 0 of 1 divided by cosine of 6t times the limit as t tends to 0 of t divided by sine of 2t. That's what we did on the previous slide. So to make it look like this, I need to multiply the numerator and the denominator for this first piece, 6. Because 6 divided by 6 is 1. So now I have this form that equals 1. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to multiply this 2 and this by 2. Because now we have this part here that equals 1. Because again, a limit as theta approaches 0 of theta divided by sine of theta also equals 1. I'll call that equation 2. Now we can solve this and find the limit. So the first thing I'm going to do is bring out this 6, and you get 6 times the limit as t tends to 0 of sine of 6t divided by 6t. Our middle part stays the same. And I can pull out from this one, I'm going to pull out 1/2. So if I pull out 1/2, get limit as t tends to 0 of 2t times sine of 2t. So this piece right here equals 1. This piece right here equals 1. So this is going to be 6 times 1 times, now plug in 0 here, and cosine of 0 is 1, so this whole thing equals 1 times 1/2, and by equation 2, this equals 1. So my final answer equals 3. This is going to be 6 times 1/2 basically. And that's it. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.